It's another day in the great city of Cleveland. From their elephants, we're moving towards the park's right corner into the Wilderness Trek, formerly the Northern Trek. It's an 8-acre mix of active year-round creatures that roam the colder climates of North America and Asia. It all started with lions, tigers, and eventually bears back in the 60s and 70s. However, husbandry advanced around the world while the trek stayed the same for decades, but is slowly progressing into present-day standards. Starting with the Wolf Wilderness, a 1997 edition that provides a look at northern Ohio's past. The path first takes you into the Wolf Lodge, a recreation of a 19th century hunter's cabin, well furnished with seating, artifacts, and even aquatic life. There's a tank for a brown trout and a terrarium in the corner for a spotted turtle. To save the best for last, we'll be skipping to the Arbor, my favorite place in the park, a covered corridor that intercepts two sides of the wetlands. On the right side, usually perched in the back, is Ragnar the bald eagle. So not only is his habitat open-fronted, but only a small stream stops him from walking right up to you. And no, due to his injuries, he cannot fly, but his neighbors can. Looking left, connected by another stream and a rock, is a second aviary with another low window, barely keeping you from sharing space with female wood ducks, a Lady Amherst pheasant, and a gorgeous red-billed blue magpie. And though I've never heard of the eagle crossing over to their side, I've seen the others wander onto his. And straight across is a 72-foot-long panorama where you will hope to see the American beaver, swimming in a picturesque 65,000-gallon pond that's closed in by a forest. They share it with several fish, the most active snapping turtle I've ever seen, and occasionally the Mexican wolf, who roam in the dense woods right behind them. If their paths do cross, the beavers can retreat to their own public den. And if you look in the right corner, you can see the cutaway that reveals their route to the entrance. There's only a foot-long drop-off from wolf to beaver territory. However, back then the canids were given full access to the pond and would occasionally take a dip. You can make a great case on saying that this is the country's greatest predator and prey display, but it is, without a doubt, the most unique design in the zoo. Continuing outdoors, starting with the attraction's north side, you should find reindeer, though we didn't and they were a no-show. But right of them are Sichuan Takins. However, this is part of the newer Asian Highlands, and if you want the full Wilderness Trek experience, I highly recommend you click on that card above. That was the new, now to the old, to two grottos that not too long ago displayed polar bears. Being built in 1971, they're showing their age, but kind of set apart from most grottos due to their range in terrain, larger pools, and waterfalls they can walk through. I'm showing you both at the same time because the animals rotate. On this day, the right side had the American black bears, and the left, grizzly bears Cody and Cooper. They came to Cleveland in 2011, orphaned in Montana after a man in search of deer antlers shot their mother in self-defense. I've never missed these two walking around, and I've been very lucky to even see them wrestling in their pools. With their young age, it makes sense that they're incredibly active and are the crowd favorites of the zoo. Cody and Cooper were eventually joined by another rescued pair, which we will see in another episode fairly soon. The last stop on the top row is literally a blast from the past, the California Sea Lion and Harbor Seal Pool. Opened back in 1982, it holds 50,000 gallons and probably should have been a relic and or forgotten long ago. Other than a few minor changes to the land portion and viewing areas, not a whole lot has changed, and I'm not sure if there's any plans to improve, so we will be moving on to the second row, with two hoofstock yards. The first shaded with massive oaks. At almost an acre, it's the largest home in the zoo and displays the Persian Onager, an endangered horse native to Central Asia that unfortunately only numbers in hundreds, though fortunately the zoo helped out with that just a bit a couple years ago. On their left, a smaller, denser, and much busier paddock for bar-headed geese, redheads, shell ducks, And on land, there's red-crowned cranes, considered to be the second rarest of their kind. And for me, it's usually hard to find the tufted deer. They get their name from the tufts of hair on its head, but their most unique trait is their unusually long upper canines that stick out of their mouths. And like their mostly hidden antlers, they're used for fighting over territory and for impressing a female. Now to the last of the original rows. You'll trek along 3 old and similar in size grottos that were built in the late 60s. Like the others, they rotate multiple bears. I only saw a spectacled bear, but I hope you'll also come across Scruffy, a very elderly sun bear, and also sloth bears Mother Shiva and your cub Shala that was born in 2019. While there's no public plans to upgrade homes for the American species, there's apparently one for these. Supposedly one day, the moats will be filled in, the viewing area will not only be glass fronted to allow close encounters, but you'll be elevated with these bears that are also known for climbing trees. And finally, the last section, the Tiger Passage, a 2016 overhaul that replaced the trek's first exhibits. When you walk in, you're literally surrounded and put in the middle of tiger territory. The left display is the river habitat, the largest and most themed. No, not with a river, but with sounds of chainsaws and axes that were used to presumably cut down these trees as a great way to represent deforestation. The middle part, also the smallest, is the ridge habitat that's best viewable from outside the Tiger Passage, and then finally the meadow habitat that can be split in 2 and where I always see the cats most active. The passage's most unique feature are the 2 overhead walkways that can connect all 3 of these into one. Before all this, the tigers were in now demolished grottos. This renovation increased their space by 75%, and rather than seeing them from 25 feet away, you can get within inches, and an opportunity to experience the world's largest cat in a way I'm sure many of you haven't before. And that does it for one of the most historical and lasting sections of the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo. Though it will be a while before I'm back here, I want you to tell me what area of the park you want to see next that we've yet to cover.